Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. It's been 24 hours since I made a Joe Biden video. That is way too long. Joe Biden's out of the basement, and like I keep saying, the content is absolutely endless. Although, it's time to focus a little bit, sprinkle a little bit of Kamala Harris into the situation because, of course, as she stated, it's the Harris administration along with Joe Biden. And I take that quite literally, as do I think a whole lot of you. Now, if you guys have been following my channel for the last 2 weeks, basically, like I just stated, since Joe left the basement, you might have noticed that I've just been making Joe Biden video after Joe Biden video after Joe Biden video after Joe Biden video. And just think about that. Every single time this man opens his mouth, I can make a full video covering all kinds of different ridiculous statements and gaffes. And then contrast that to the president who's out on the campaign trail all the time, is in the public's eye every single day and has been for years, and he can't really do the same thing. That really speaks 1,000 words. So I gotta update you guys on everything that's going on. We're actually gonna start off with a Kamala story for this one, a full-on rejection of Kamala Harris in her recent trip to Florida, trying to win over the Latino vote. What a surprise, Biden playing Despacito over the mic didn't exactly work. And then after we quickly cover Kamala, I'm just gonna update you guys on all of the tomfoolery, the absolute lunacy that is the Biden campaign. And I will keep making these until this whole fiasco is over. So we're gonna get into all of that, but before we do, please make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified every single time I post a new video, since that's by far the best thing you can do to support the channel. Now with that out of the way, let's roll the tape. Alright, so here's the first story, as promised, covering Kamala. Venezuelan restaurant in Florida says Kamala Harris is unwelcome after surprise campaign stop. Local news disaster for Kamala Harris in Doral, Florida. She visited a Venezuelan restaurant unannounced, and the owner was left angry, customers called for a boycott, and she was not welcome. So just to give you guys the TLDR on the entire story, essentially what happened was Kamala just randomly dropped by this restaurant and essentially turned it into a campaign site, completely unsolicited and unannounced. And this is a mistake that Democrats make all too often. They view everything through the prism of lens. And so by virtue, they think, hey, a Latino-owned business, they must be Democrats and support me. But obviously we know that in Florida, they're Cubans and Venezuelans. They are based. And essentially what happened is the Venezuelan restaurant owner received a crazy amount of backlash, getting calls for boycott, people calling in, condemning him for hosting Kamala Harris, and all of this backlash towards his business based on something he had no control over. He did not want her in his doors. He said she was not welcome. He didn't want his restaurant to be turned into her campaign site. And then he went on the local news station and straight up said that she was not welcome and that he doesn't want her there. And that might as well be a metaphor for the entire state of Florida, at least from my perspective, or at least the Hispanic community within Florida, who are strongly backing the president in 2020, especially the Cubans and Venezuelans. And I wonder why. You're talking about people who seeked refuge in America to get away from communism, and now they're seeing the exact same thing bred in this country that they fled to. White liberals absolutely love Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Venezuelans, on the other end, have a very different worldview. And so when these exact Latinos see stories like Ocasio-Cortez, we can likely push Biden in a more progressive direction. Frankly, it freaks them out when they see the Harris administration and the Harris agenda, and then make a connection with that and the fact that she votes alongside Bernie Sanders pretty much one for one. Once again, Venezuelans and Cubans get freaked out. And speaking of being freaked out, the Democrats are experiencing a little bit of that themselves right now, as a massive wave of desperation starts to flood the party. Look at this story right here. Report, Democrats getting nervous about Joe Biden's non-existent ground game in Michigan. The man is nowhere to be seen. He's supposed to be out of the basement, but he keeps taking days off. Or he'll show up somewhere and go on stage for like 15 minutes and then disappear for the rest of the day, not taking any questions, not doing any further events. The man's pretty much a no-show. And now he's even resorting to just having his wife, Jill Biden, or is that his sister? I forget. Who is it again, Joe?
Hey, it's my little sister, Valerie.
And I'm Joe Biden's husband, Joe Biden.
Oh, okay, got it. Well, she's campaigning for him instead. Just think about that. This type of story can easily just get swept under the rug and no one even knows that it's happening. The man's got no energy. He decided to stay in Delaware and just sent his wife out to campaign for him. The president's been campaigning for nearly 5 years straight, crisscrossing across the entire country, non-stop, barely any sleep, and Joe Biden can't last more than 2 days. Jill Biden hits the campaign trail in New Hampshire as feeble Biden stays put in Delaware. And guys, the enthusiasm is absolutely off the charts. Check out this car rally. Damn, did you guys see that 2003 Mustang? These people are based. What was that after that, a Prius? Oh my god. There were more reporters there than there were actual cars. And honestly, it seems as though Joe's not even in control. Check out this from one of his virtual events.
So would you like to say a couple words?
Am I supposed to speak now, or is Karen supposed to speak? I don't know. I don't want to get in trouble here. Oh, it's me. Okay.
He is completely not in control. He does everything that his campaign managers, his wife maybe tells him. The man's a complete puppet. Everything he does is orchestrated, organized, pre-planned, and literal live action puppeteering is happening. That's what the teleprompter is. In that exact same event, look at this train wreck.
I look forward to doing that work together, doing it with you. It's part of how I was raised. I hope you join me and put the future within our reach, where states that, look, whatever state of life you're in, you can make a difference.
Clearly staring right into a teleprompter. I mean, we know it by now. It's basically been an obvious fact since the start. There's been more than circumstantial evidence at this point to prove the claim, but he's struggling to read. And keep in mind, Joe Biden has had 2 brain surgeries back in 1988. And if you Google Joe Biden brain surgery, you'll see this. In 1988, Biden suffered 2 brain aneurysms, one on the right side and one on the left. Each required surgery with high risk of long-term impact on brain functionality. High risk, long-term impact on brain functionality. Think about that. There's a possibility that the Democrats are taking somebody who is in the literal cognitive decline, his brain health is suffering, and they're pushing him in the forefront, trying to control him and trying to get him into the Oval Office. It seems unethical to me. I actually feel bad for the guy. He's so controlled at every second. Everything he does, once again, at one of his 10-minute speeches, showing up 90 minutes late like usual, shows up, does a little thing, doesn't take any questions, and leaves. He's got the same prepared, pre-made list of names that he can call on. Check this out.
Let me put my list here. Everybody's sitting. Okay. ABC, Mary.
This is the weirdest campaign for public office I've ever seen in my entire life. It's straight up just weird. It doesn't feel right. Left, right, center, people know that, but people are also still willing to vote for the man just to get the current president out of office. What does that say about those voters? But let's get off the whole cognitive decline thing for a second, and let's get into the next thing that Joe Biden did. Once again, Mr. Foreign Policy expert himself, Joe, dabbling in foreign affairs, which, frankly, he seems to know absolutely nothing about. Anti-British Joe Biden interferes in Brexit talks, takes EU's side. So the UK just left the European Union not too long ago, seceding from Europe and becoming their own sovereign nation in control of their own borders and in control of their own trade policies. And here comes old Uncle Joe, taking the EU's side and trying to interfere in British Brexit talks, to which a former UK Conservative leader said, "Stay out of Brexit, worrying about killing and rioting in the USA." Absolutely demolished. But if you guys want to see Joe Biden get completely smoked, you guys gotta go check out one of my friends at the YouTube channel We Got a Problem, an absolute mad lad who, when the whole Brexit thing was going on, I was watching his channel every single day. He made a video on Joe and the whole Brexit thing, and I guarantee you he probably excoriated the man. So go check out We Got a Problem on YouTube and tell him the Liberal Hive Mind sent you there, and of course subscribe. But of course, with all the blunders and all the failure that we've seen in Joe Biden's recent appearances since he left the basement, he did in fact get a win today, a very anti-democratic win. Check this out. Pennsylvania Supreme Court sides with Democrats. Mail-in ballot deadline extended 3 days after the election. And so this actually makes me really nervous. I've been making a lot of videos on Pennsylvania lately, or just election analysis videos, and I've been saying Pennsylvania is very strongly headed towards Trump's direction. And I even said Trump is going to win Pennsylvania by 2 or 3%. This throws a little bit of a wrench into my prediction. This whole mail-in ballot thing honestly makes me really nervous, especially 3 days late after the election. My friend sent me this on Discord earlier today, like, just look at all the stories, and this is all recent stuff. Mail-in ballots seem inconsistent at best, and when done on a national level, unsolicited ballots being sent out to people's homes, who knows what can happen. I even heard some guy interviewed joke about voting for his wife, voting for his candidate. His wife didn't plan on voting. He said, "I'll vote for her and vote for my candidate." There's a million different possibilities that we might not see coming, and all I hope is that it's a free and fair election. But don't be surprised, frankly, if there is actually a red mirage and the president wins, and then over the next coming days, things start start to get a little bit shaky. And with something like this, if you can vote 3 days after the election, who knows what to expect at that point. But that's what I got for you guys today. That's an update on the Harris-Biden administration, or the Harris administration along with Joe Biden. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, please make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and check out my Subscribe Star. Links are both in the description. Now it's time for me to get back to cooking up some more content for you guys. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.